My name is Batsheva Shalev, and I'm a ballet, modern dance, and jazz dancer. I've been dancing for my entire life, and I've worked as a dance instructor for over a decade. Part of our curriculum, studying dance in college in the Shomron, consisted of studying the history of dance, focusing on significant choreographies since the beginning of time. One of those choreographies was the Green Table, created in 1932 by Kurt Jooss. Kurt Jooss was a famous ballet dancer and a choreographer. The Green Table opens with a group of diplomats having a discussion around a table covered with a green cloth. They end up pulling guns from their pockets and shooting in the air, symbolizing the declaration of war. The next 6 scenes portray the different aspects of wartime and ends as it began, with the group of diplomats once again around the Green Table. Completely indifferent to the ravages of war, they continue their hypocritical negotiations. This choreography hit me hard because it tells my story. And this is my story. I am the wife of a combat unit officer in the IDF. I'm also the mother of 5 little children, a 7-year-old boy, triplets, 2 boys and a girl who will be 6 tomorrow, and a 4.5-year-old little girl. I'm also a Jew living in the Shomron. Though born in the U.S., I am the direct descendant of a Jewish-Israeli dynasty. My ancestor moved to Israel in 1621. He and his family later took part in reestablishing the Jewish communities in the cities of Jerusalem, Tzfat, and Tiberias. Growing up, my mother lived in the Jewish quarter of the Old City in Jerusalem. They fled the Jewish quarter after heavy house-to-house fighting occurred, with the Arab Legion pushing Israeli forces out. All Jewish residents of the Old City's Jewish quarter, including my mother's entire family, were expelled. During the British Mandate, Jews lived under lockdown, permitted to walk the streets of Jerusalem only in specific hours. My grandfather, given his position and occupation, had a special permit allowing him to be out freely. While walking the streets of the Old City one day, my grandfather was detained by several British soldiers. With no reason or explanation, they beat my grandfather nearly to death. Due to his severe injuries, he had to be taken to the U.S. for advanced medical care. Following the long medical treatment required, my grandmother later joined him with their 7 young children, my mother amongst them. In 1982, my parents, a couple with 4 little children, including myself, moved to Israel. While living in the city of Ra'anana, they were part of a group planning to establish a new community in the Shomron called Neve Aliza. My parents built the house of their dreams, but never got to live in it. My father was diagnosed with cancer and had to be hospitalized very often. The first Intifada had just begun, resulting with the roads leading from Neve Aliza to the nearest hospital blocked or highly dangerous to travel on. My father passed away, never getting to see his long-life dream come true. I moved to the Shomron with my husband in the summer of 2006 and have been living there ever since. I have 3 special needs children. Traveling to their kindergarten and back, they need to be taken every day in a bulletproof vehicle. Driving the roads of the Shomron, Arabs can drive freely to their destination, while Jews many times need to drive for hours to avoid entering Arab villages because not only is it legally prohibited, but also life-threatening to Jews. The place I live in, my home, is surrounded by a barbed wire fence to keep danger out. I hear a lot from foreign sources terms such as apartheid, discrimination, racism, and more in regard to the reality of life for the Arabs in the Shomron. You've got it upside down, inside out, and backwards. The UN General Assembly Resolution 194, which was passed on December 11, 1948, recognized the right of the return for the first time. It resolves that the refugees wishing to return to their homes and live at peace with their neighbors should be permitted to do so at the earliest practicable date, and that compensation should be paid for the property of those choosing not to return, and for loss of or damage to property which, under principles of international law or in equity, should be made good by the governments or authorities responsible. I am the refugee. My family, as well as the entire Jewish nation, has been brutally ripped out of their homes, never given the right to return. I am a refugee, wishing to return to my home after 2,000 years. I'm the one who lives under threat. Leave your offices, your assemblies, and your green tables behind, and come see reality for yourselves. This House legislates laws detached from reality, affecting the lives of hundreds of thousands. Come visit, and you'll see coexistence. You'll see culture and art. You'll see academies, tourism, business, and more that are all composed in harmony by Jews and Arabs alike. The past cannot be changed, but the future can. I sit here today asking you to be part of history. Let's be the change we'd like to be in the world. Thank you.